Welcome back from the break, everybody. And the first match of the day, Hex. It went, to 4 maps. But now you and I are here, so we know this one's going to go to 5.
Yeah, generally, they happen to go that way. However, New York XL is playing, so they're
still going to go to 5, Hex.
No,
Still going to go to 5. The dream lives on.
That should be a good one. I'm really interested to see what this Toronto, not Toronto, I've been told, is team is going to bring. And now that they've got the new addition, this is them at full strength. And I mentioned in the pregame show, it was so important for them to go 2-1, win the games they were supposed to win, because they're still in the stage playoff contention.
Damn straight. And, well, just moving on. New York, they're a beast of a team, and they are definitely the dominant force. We saw that throughout the first season. Going into the second season, still the same. And, guy who believes himself, JJoNak, right out the gates.
I think NYXL's trash talk it's so much more painful for people to read because they're like, yeah, it's probably right. I mean, it's like, you can talk trash and people are like, whatever, that's just trash talk. But when JJoNak says something like this, that the other teams can try, we're just better, you look at it and you're like, I'm not even mad because he's probably right, and it just makes it hurt that much more.
You're talking, I mean, when you're on the most dominant team, you got MVP last season, keep that in mind, most valuable player of season 2018. So, I mean, if JJoNak is saying it, it's like, yeah, okay, fair enough. It's like, yeah. I don't know, Kobe or Michael Jordan just going at it.
There's so many players on this team that are almost so good and they're so dominant that they're forgotten about. Like, you think about like Mono and Meko, like any one of these guys could win an MVP. But we will see the starting 6 of the NYXL come to the stage right now. Oh, Toronto, I'm sorry.
So, Toronto, Defiant, Toronto, rise together, and they are certainly looking to do that in this match. Second match of the day here from the Blizzard Arena in Los Angeles, and they've definitely got something to prove, Hex, because they're heroes, essentially. They're going up against them.
And the big addition to this team, who is not playing for the first 3 games, is Neko. He's going to be playing very much the Zenyatta role. He had a bit of what we called JJoNak syndrome last year, maybe peaking a little too much, going a little bit more damage, but some veteran leadership on this team. Envy, the team captain, Neko comes in, and they've really just kind of held the fort, waiting for their guys to come back. This is the final form for Toronto.
So let's go ahead and meet their opponents, and the man in question, JJoNak. He happens to be on this team. It is the New York Excelsior. As far as New York are concerned, I mean, Hex, it's just business as usual. They're not the ones feeling any pressure right now.
They play such a defensive style, robotic, and it's just perfect. All gears are working at the exact same time. I picked earlier in the year for Mono to be my MVP, but he does his job so well that he gets forgotten about so much. It's like you reach that level of excellence and people just take it for granted.
Speaking of excellence, JJoNak, I do want to touch on that again. Neko, going into this last season, he did really have JJoNak syndrome. He was just like, guys, JJoNak was able to influence the entire season. All the teams in it, all the players, they looked at him, they're like, how do we play like this guy? And all the Zenyatas in particular were looking at this guy like, I want to be JJoNak. Get all of my team's support in the blink of an eye, be the guy who's dealing the most damage, getting all the kills. I mean, who doesn't want to be the superstar? He's
still leading Zens in most of the important statistics, but it is how his team supports him so much. Last year, he got damage boosted by Mercy constantly. The tanks are just so good on this team. They're always making room for him to play, and they play around JJoNak. He's the centerpiece of the team, and they know that. They know where their bread is buttered.
So many clips of this guy where it's like, look at JJoNak survive this again, and you see the entire team just rallying on him. As soon as an EMP goes off, you think, oh, that's a dead Zenyatta. No, turns out not. New York, too good at keeping their main star alive, but of course this is a star-studded lineup. I mean, they are truly the dominant force in this league right now.
And we've gone through talking about all the great players on this roster. We didn't even mention Libero, who can play absolutely everything. He enables the team to play all sorts of different styles, so they're just star-studded. I think it would be a victory for Toronto if you can keep it close, if you can hang with New York, as we say, but they may be able to pull out an upset as well. So I know that, like I said, these are veterans. They know how New York plays. New York's not really going to surprise anybody with their style.
So now let's go ahead and take a look at the map set for this match, and it will be presented by Toyota. Busan will be the one kicking us off here, the control map. Essentially King of the Hill. These guys are going to battle it out in a best of 3, trying to control, well, the first to control 2 points. So as far as these guys are concerned, New York just really looking to see what they decide to throw in here.
Busan has quickly become one of my favorite maps because we see some interesting strategies. I also really like the game mode a lot. It's a little bit brawlier, a little bit scrappier, but we're going to kick it off on one of our 3 stages. It begins at the Mecha base, and this is where you see a lot of 4 damage dealing compositions, single tanks, a lot of interesting stuff comes out here.
We actually get to see damage dealers. you're right. Snipers as well. Stellar going to be kicking things off on the Widowmaker. Nene on the other side, Widow of his own. So we will have 2 snipers in play. No big shock with this particular roster composition, just because it is, as you pointed out, the points that we get to see quite a bit of sniping action on. So already, they're just trying to hunt each other out, figure out where each sniper has set up position.
Yeah, the angles get a little bit tricky. Toronto had tried this actually against Atlanta and was completely shut down by the opposing team's Brigitte. They were unable to get pulse bombs, unable to get EMPs, so they need to really try to focus on where Libero isn't if they want to get those abilities up.
That was some sick pressure on the Hammond already to kick things off. Just, you know, New York putting them on blast, letting them know. Nene gonna, kick things off with a kill, but it will be instantly traded, exactly. Neko gonna bite the dust though, so this is a great start here for New York. They're getting all of the valuable kills to kick things off, and they should be controlling the point first, putting the Defiant on the back foot already.
They got a kill on a Jonak, who was on the Ana, but it is going to be New York taking first control at this point. Nane takes down Envy too, which is not an interaction you see too often, as Envy has the ability to be invisible. Working their way up to some abilities. Already a little bit better start for the Tracer and Sombra player for Toronto. Last time they tried this strategy, they didn't really get up to Pulse Bomb and EMP, which are so important for those heroes.
That's the key. It is the key. It's what they're all about. And speaking of EMPs, there's a monster one right into the thick of things. Already with all of the kills, Defiant, they go through the door and they meet a horrible death. No way for them to get anywhere near this point. They go already farming up that EMP, back up to 30%. So that is going to be the key thing for these Sombras. Focus on getting that EMP up as quickly as possible. And as soon as either team show themselves, boom, you have to drop it and you have to win that fight decisively.
We call it farming the ultimate, meaning you're just trying to do damage. You're not necessarily going for kills. So Sombra will appear behind a tank, do a lot of damage, and make sure that the EMP comes up. But you started off with a pick on a Tracer. Already a good fight.
And another crowd controlling ultimate, or at least one that's going to zone them out. The mines go down, dropped in by Mano. And so that's, once again, forcing Defiant back. Envy, just wondering, where's my team? He's on the other side of the map.
A little bit scattered about here. Libero's going to get a late kill as well. Those ultimates I mentioned earlier are online now for the Toronto Defiants. Envy with EMP, Pulse Bomb also ready. So we'll see where this EMP wants to come off. They have to use it. Already 75 nearly on the board for NYXL.
He's in point. Oh, gets spotted though. Does manage to recall quick enough. That was so close. The stun combo not quite enough to eliminate Envy. So he's already at half, and we lose Mykles in the process. So a man advantage now for Defiant. Gets traded back. Jonak gonna find the kill on Envy. Once again, that EMP not gonna be a part of this fight. Nene looking for it, misses the shot. Now may have missed his opportunity. As you can see, the shields are up, and Ivy with the focus takes the Widow out of the fight.
It's a good punish, but they're not getting enough. That's only their 3rd kill of the round. Meanwhile, NYXL still on the point, only down 1. Nane's going to be able to come back on Tracer, so they're not even going to be uneven for a while. Mine should zone them out. EMP as well. Desperation time for Toronto.
It's all or nothing now, and really they don't have a whole lot to work with. Overtime, they do manage to contest with 2, but they're going to get cleaned up immediately. Not long for this world. And there really isn't too much hope here for the Defiant to contest once again. Not going to make it in time. Ivy was so close, but he's not able to tap the point, and so it will be a 1-point lead now for the New York XL.
A very nice play. It's the same strategy that Toronto has tried before. They got a little bit more output from their damage dealers. And now we will go to the second stage here of Busan, with Toronto needing to win this early on, but NYXL looking as dominant as we expect. 20-3, the overall stat line of eliminations in favor of New York.
Yeah, in favor of New York. Dominant performance so far, no shock there. The Defiants right now gritting their teeth. They've got to figure out how to turn things around for themselves here, and it's looking like they're going to go ahead and go back to one of the tried and true. We will have the big beef, the goats, the 3-3, whatever you want to call it. It's 3 tanks, 3 supports. And a little variation with Moira.
Okay, so little different styles here. NYXL still running what they ran last time. And speaking of running, they will be running right back to spawn to switch up their composition.
What do you got in store for us here, New York? It's time to have fun.
They're just going to mirror it.
Well, there you go. Zarya's in play. Keep your eye on the pink hair. That is the key hero going into these fights, the big damage dealer, and once Graviton, the ultimate, comes online, that's a huge team fight ability as well. So keep an eye on them. They're going to be the linchpins here, the focus. And right now, just crashing into each other, head to head, both teams in a standoff, trying to wear down each other's shields. Ivy doing a good job right now, a bit of the angry bees there. But so far, it's going to be New York. They decide to get boosted in, take the fight to them, trying to split up the Defiant, and they're doing a decent job. It's a bit chaotic, trading 1 for 1, but with the Rhine dead, that's pretty much it.
Libero got split out. The Shatter does connect, but not enough. And now we've got a Coalescence. It's very good on this map because retreating paths are narrow. Coalescence does damage, does healing, mainly focused on the damage there. And it comes out.
Well, okay then.
It's interesting because early when Neko was not in this lineup, Aid was playing and he would try to run a lot of Moira. But now it seems like it's not player specific, that it's a Toronto strategy to run more Moira than other teams. And just as I say that, of course, Neko's going to switch on his Zenyatta.
Well, it worked. They got the value out of it, right? The Coalescence got into play.
It charges so fast.
And now you actually have, I mean, you're going to get to mirror Jonak. It's Neko going up against his hero, Hex.
Jonak's everyone's hero.
Fair enough. True enough. But let's see, can he measure himself up against the Titan? We're going to find out. There's the grab, gets chucked in, does manage to pick up two. Self-destruct combo going through, but the shield is up, and Mano is able to save his teammates. Good timing on the sound barrier there as well from Animo, keeping his team alive. But they do lose the Zarya, and that's pretty much going to be, yep, New York Excel backing off, or at least trying to. Good pressure getting thrown in here. Ryan not able to make it out.
Yeah, very nice play there as they separate him, and that means that he's going to have to wait a second to respawn and rejoin the team. Meanwhile, in control of the point is Toronto, 55% and counting up. That means about 2 fights away. They also have Shatter, and mostly both support ultimates up is the important part. Neko will get there, Roki's already there, and those are critical if you're going to try to defend against a Graviton Surge.
Once again, we're going to be keeping an eye on Nene here, just because he needs to get that energy up, that number that's ticking down in the middle of his screen. The higher it is, up to 100, the more damage he deals. So there's the bubble, up to 70, and now he gets to really start melting face. Already going right into it, grab point blank. Nobody there to stop it. Self-destruct gonna go through. Doesn't quite find the angle, and Mono gets nailed in the meantime. So New York excel right now. Tables have turned here. Hacks, Caster Curse, maybe it's a thing.
But they're going to be happy to just stall this out and get to 90. In fact, I might be a little bit surprised if they start committing ultimates here. A little bit surprising, but they think they can bring it back, and it looks like they can.
Big plays. This is going to be it. The Hail Mary getting thrown in by New York, and it will not pan out. The Defiant living up to their names. Tying the series up 1-1. We're going to go the distance.
I like the aggressive nature there. They had an opportunity to pull it back. A lot of teams would have just let it go to 99, save up some ultimates, and try to guarantee next fight, but they rode the momentum that they had, and now we're tied up as we enter into downtown Busan.
Exactly right. So starting to kill or close that gap on the kills as well. New York only able to pick up 2 kills on that last point. We're up to 15 now for Defiant. So definitely doing good work here, Defiant. We may actually have a real match on our hands here, Hex. It was looking a little one-sided to kick things off, but let's see if the Defiant can show us that New York are mortal after all.
Well, this is what you want to see out of Defiant, because we haven't seen them quite at full strength just yet. And like I said, if they can hang with New York and steal some maps and maybe steal a set, then I think it's going to open a lot of people's eyes about how strong this team just might be.
A lot to prove. And already in position, it's going to be New York now. Gathered up, everybody together. Good AoE damage getting thrown down onto him, though. Healthy, as already. Ryan Yakpong is already nearly at his shatter. He's got 50% and counting. That's so big. So quick right off the bat in the fight. So Defiant willing to give ground. They're looking to get that first control, and it's looking like they're not quite going to get it. New York able to challenge in time. And now it's going to be the staring contest.
Still just back and forth, displaced off the point. Moira does so much. Just burst healing right up there. See, everyone gets low, gets right back up, and Coalescence already up. It's one of the big benefits to running Moira. However, Toronto's already lost 2 players.
Yeah, they lose 2 players. The focus fire now coming in is too good for New York. Just not able to get enough healing going to keep the team alive on the Defiant side, and so New York will be the first to pick up control here. Key for them, especially as these ultimates come online for the XL. Libero about to have that rally, and we've nearly got sound barriers. So they have all the tools in the bank right now.
It's really interesting that they want to run Moira almost exclusively seeming in first fights. You get out there, you do enough healing, you do enough damage to have Coalescence, and they're looking that as the tipping point because it's usually online before other ultimates come. But now you're way behind on your Zenyatta charge, and Neko is right back to spawn.
Very nice call. Good team support, though. The quick rotate coming in from Defiant. Was it a mistake on Ivy's part, or was it good teamwork? I mean, managing to keep their Zarya alive, and so most importantly, Ivy gets to keep his energy. Not going to take him as long to start doing the damage. Well, Nene will be backing off. He's looking for the grab. The Matrix goes offline and drops it straight away. Self-destruct is through into the corner, but good positioning from Defiant. It wasn't the self-destruct, it was the follow-up that ends up doing the damage. 50% on the point and counting for New York.
We talk about ultimates and the economy of ultimates that you need to pay attention to. NYXL just used 2 of their ultimate abilities there in that fight. The classic 2 that you use in these 3-3 compositions, the Graviton Surge and the Self-Destruct, won the fight, but they still have 4 remaining online. Toronto with a small advantage has to push it right now.
Now they have to go for it. Rally is going to get used by Stellar to kick things off. Good delay there on Libero's side. Rally of his own, trying to mitigate this damage. Grab goes in. Can they deny it? Shatter up high. No kills. Mono just committing to it, looking to capitalize, but they can't get it done. Roki's going to get the sound barrier out in time to keep his team up, and there are the big kills coming through now for the Defiant. Everything getting thrown in here for the XL, and they still lose the fight.
They had to use a lot there. Toronto still trying to wrestle control back, but NYXL will get off of the points at 93%, which usually means you're about 1 fight away. Every ultimate used pretty much on both sides of things. Neko still holding on to his Transcendence, so that's something you generally want to use as a reactionary ultimate. If you get Graviton and you don't have Transcendence, you're in a world of hurt. But some teams have kind of switched it up and want to engage with it.
Exactly right. We have seen that in the past. Neko getting pummeled right now. Going to get demeched as well, unless he gets help, and that's not going to be the case. Out of the mech, goes for the self-destruct, and it somehow works! Ivy and Yakwang out of it immediately, and now New York Excel, with those 3 kills, they're setting themselves up prime here to take control of the point.
Yeah, this is a really tough position to be in. The only 3 people even near the point are both supports of the D.Va. D.Va's going to launch it in, try to clear up some space, and buy some time for the Toronto Defiant to try to recontest.
Jonak wiping the oil off his brow there. He barely got out of line of sight of the time. Now he's alive to keep it. Going for the fight, and there are 3 quick kills coming through, and Defiant not able to contest. Mego looking shocked. He didn't even realize. He's like, oh wait, yes, that's right, we won. New York take the lead. So we will see, obviously, how this is all going to play out. We have 4 maps total. 3 more coming right at you after the break.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.